Well, hello there. Some things start on time. Some things actually work. It is me, the Artisan MC, and I'm back to give this finish my rant or my little discussion I was having without the problems of cell phone companies and mountains. Like, share, subscribe, support the stream if you feel so inclined. Got my Sinestro shirt on, sitting in my Green Lantern chair. So we'll see how this goes. I have something to say and I want to get it off without being interrupted. And I need to be sure to delete that other video because that was bullshit. Delete, 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 delete. I should probably watch it first to see if it's any good or what parts are no good in it. But 27 minutes, that was crap. All right, so for recap, and you'll forgive me because I'm having me some mint chocolate chip ice cream. A freeze in my metal cup. So, give myself a treat for making it home today. All right, so what am I talking about? If you missed the stream a little while ago while I was on the road, I was talking about the discourse I had been watching on the Lanterns show and how silly I thought some of it was, and really getting put off by some black commentators I heard complaining about the show and what they were complaining about the show on, what their point, what their cause du jour, what their sticking point was. And what I heard them saying was that they were all pissed off about white dudes getting to be eccentric line. Now, I found that funny because these are black people, black males. And I didn't understand why the hell they would be upset about something like that. Because how does it directly relate to them? Now, funnier part was, yes, they're on a panel, they're with their crew. They laugh and yuck it up, putting in their 2 cents. Cool, fine, whatever. But then I went back and did, like research and saw what they individually had to say because they put up their own individual videos about this shit. And so I went back and watched that to see what they had to say. And all I heard outside of this is not Hal Jordan, this is not Jon Stewart, the show's not any good, it's a mystery box, it's all the rest of this shit, this common, sound clip, soundbite era shit. The commentator I was listening to was doubling down on this shit about white dudes being eccentric or rich white men being eccentric. That line just sent him over the moon and ruined his enjoyment of the whole show. And I'm sitting there listening to this shit and I'm like, dude, you sound like a house Negro. You really do. And I like the YouTuber. I do like the YouTuber. I sub to the channel. I listen to his videos sometimes. But this shit is like, Bro, as another black man, I'm like pulling you to the side, like, man, what is you doing? Why are you doing that? Like, I got white friends too, but they know goddamn well I'm not sticking up for them on something like that, which is something that you can commonly see in the world around you right now. It has been a truism. Rich white dudes get to be eccentric. Now, the dude that's doing the channel, he starts pointing out black folks who are rich and eccentric. And I'm like, yeah, I'm with you. But all of these people have one thing in common. They're all rich. And they're all entertainers in one form or fashion. So you being mad over one line, one statement in a TV show sounds absolutely ridiculous with what you're trying to straw man up next to it. Which is the fact that black folks can be eccentric too. Like, well, fuck it. It's not a cookie like somebody keeping it away from you that you need to prove that we can be that too. That sounds so fucking ridiculous to me. Now, the point being is that most of these people that he named were in recent history, at least the last 50 years. At least. Rich white dudes been being able to be eccentric forever. So it's not an odd thing to say for something that you can actively see that is true right now to this day. And the point that I was making while I was on the road was there's a director that I like who is as eccentric as hell. But he got to be that way because he was white. He was attached to a rich family. He got to become a Hollywood director. He ain't the first one. He will not be the last. It's a truism. If you want to believe that, well, if you just state the obvious, country was founded by white folks. It stands to reason that a lot more of them are wealthy than us. It also stands to reason that a lot more of them ain't completely rap tight. Can have some weirdness about them. But they got to be that way because they was rich and white. The common denominator between them is when you're rich, you do get to be eccentric. You do. A lot of shit fly when you're rich. And if you're the right shade of rich, you can do whatever the fuck you feel like doing. Isn't that what that whole Epstein Island shit is about? Isn't it? Isn't that why all us regular working class people want the files to be released so we can see what all these rich white motherfuckers was doing? What they was getting up to, what they were planning, how depraved they are. But no, I gotta listen to this Negro sitting up there on his stream telling me this shit and being upset like, oh no, that's wrong that they said that shit. Not about my white brothers. I'm like, come the fuck on, man. What the hell is wrong with you? And the point that I got to was the image of Steven from Candyland sitting there justifying Calvin Candy's bullshit. That's what I got to from listening to his fucking video. And it gave me pause. Like, God damn, dude, you really can't be going this hard for this. You really can't. I don't even know if you hear yourself. He said, Willy Wonka, anybody? Yeah. Willy Wonka in every iteration has been a Caucasian dude, right? You want to see somebody hate Willy Wonka? Let that chocolate making motherfucker be black. And see how his eccentricities are a problem. His eccentricities are a problem. See how people talk about how they wouldn't be letting no kids go over there. He like Michael Jackson. See that? Oh, he should be sued for all the stuff that he did to those kids. Look, he turned one into a blueberry. See, don't that shit come up? It's a truism. It is something that you can see in the world today and know it's absolutely true. Somebody putting it down as a line in dialogue for another character to say to one other character is not that shocking. It's true. They don't have to fucking like it. And that's the whole beauty of the truth. The truth does not care about your feelings. So they feel some kind of way about hearing that line. You only got a reaction because hit dogs always holler. Now, the other thing is about how much they don't like the show, but they're not pointing to anything specific. They keep running back to, oh, this is not the character and this is not the character, but they're never pointing to what is not the character. What part is not the character? They're never getting to that. Never. Now, I'm not in the soundbite, listen at 2x speed crowd. I don't do that. You got a 2-hour podcast or a live stream, I will listen to 2 hours of your live stream. Unbroken. Because once I start, I finish. So I'm listening to your whole complaint, your whole argument, your whole stream. And if all I hear is the same 5 talking points, that 6 of you keep kicking between each other like a fucking kickball, then you ain't got nothing to say. Are they valid points? Vaguely. But when I listen to you do your video, you misrepresenting the whole show and the characters. Which me as a black man take offense to that shit because you're misrepresenting that black man's work. You might have only found out who Aaron Pierre was from this Lantern show, A Rebel Ridge. I knew who the fuck he was when I was watching Old by M. Night Shyamalan. So I'm happy to see the brother getting more work in bigger and bigger roles. Now, if you don't like the words coming out of his mouth, that is not his problem. That's a you problem with the writer's problem. If you don't like the director of the shit, that is a you problem. Because make no mistake about it, the reason why y'all don't like that damn director is because he does something that y'all don't like. He constantly put black men in your face. And make no mistake about it, don't think I don't get it. You're pissed off at that director or David Lindelof because he turned John Osterman into a black dude. Like it matters. And for people like Andre who might not know who John Osterman is Dr. Manhattan from The Watchmen. You know, the Jewish guy, the watchmaker's son, who went into the intrinsic field and got himself ripped apart to his atoms and then figured out how to put himself back together, and he came back blue. These motherfuckers still got an issue about that damn Watchmen show because he turned himself black because he saw a black chick he was interested in. That's your issue? Let's not forget, that was Yahya Abdul-Mateen playing that role too. Now you get some of their hate for the Wonder Man show too. That's why? Oh, I get it. You don't want to see all that racial shit on the screen. Okay. Did it happen? Did it happen? Because I watched that whole Watchmen show. No, it wasn't the comic. It was a departure from the comic. Yes, it was. But in a sense, in a world post what happened in the Watchmen movie, who's to say that ain't how it happened? Who's to say that's not the way the world worked? Yeah, it was skin veily with the Watchmen stuff on it, but it wasn't really that. But the story that they told was convoluted and interesting. One of my favorite episodes was when the who was it, Hooded Justice? It was Louis Gossett Jr., one of our great black actors, showed a vision of his past. And he went in there and burnt up all them damn crooked, racist cops. That was one of the better episodes. Now, you can be offended by that shit. Understand racism is a problem. So I don't give a shit that the next project that this person that did this Watchmen show is doing in the geek realm is this Green Lantern stuff. I don't give a shit. Every director has his style. And if his style is not doing a bunch of special effects and shit, then that's just the hell you're going to get. And if you ask the question, well, why are we not doing this? Why is it not just up in space? Because doing shit in space is expensive, dumbass. You saw the way the Ryan Reynolds movie looked. It was done in space. It looked like shit. I don't know how somebody go from 200 pounds without a CG suit on to 115 with it on. It looked ridiculous. It looked ridiculous in the commercials. It looked ridiculous in the trailer. It didn't look no better on the screen. I know. I was there opening day watching that shit, listening to two dudes sitting in front of me, two black dudes sitting in front of me, talking about the first Green Lantern was John Stewart. And rolling my goddamn eyes is like, damn, these fucking kids do not read these days. I like John Stewart, but I know he ain't the first. Keep shit straight. Now, we've already done a Green Lantern movie up in space. I would love one up in space. I would. I really would. That's what I'd want to see. A Nova movie happening in space and a Green Lanterns movie happening in space. But you have to restart this shit. You got to restart it somewhere. And wherever you're starting from is going to be small. You're not getting that Ryan Reynolds bullshit no more. Because as bad as everybody would tell you that movie is, it had all Jeff Johns stuff in it. Yellow Impurities, Parallax, Sinestro, Yellow Lanterns, Green Lanterns, the Yellow Ring, all that shit. Dude, it was everything in there you could like if you was a Green Lantern fan, but the movie went down in flames. Why? Because nobody was buying a CG green suit, was they? So now you got a lantern. He don't turn green. He's not wearing a suit. And motherfuckers is pissed off about that. There's no pleasing some of you bitches. You're going to complain about a sunny day that it wasn't bright enough. or you had to wear your sunscreen. For me and my money, as a Green Lantern fan, I don't mind this down to earth shit. I don't mind it at all. It's a show. I watched Smallville for what, 7, 8 years? Motherfucker never had a costume on, and it was always on Earth. And he's supposed to be Superman at one point. Did you like the Arrow show? That happened on Earth too. I don't have a problem with that. I don't. Just let me know what the story is. And yes, you don't like that they attached to J.J. Abrams. Who gives a fuck? I got my problems with J.J. Abrams just as much as I give him his credit. Because to his credit, he can start some good shows. My problem with his ass is he can't finish them for nothing. His business practices and shit, that's beyond me, man. He's not doing a deal with me. But it does seem kind of fucked up. Well, maybe Hollywood should do something about that shit. But it doesn't mean I'm a shit on every project he's doing just because he might have been attached or they might have worked with him. I've worked with a lot of shitty people. They bullshit does not stick to me because I'm not them. I am me. And the problem with a lot of you motherfuckers is that you only know things by association anyway. That's how you can see a group of black folks together and think they all criminals. Because that's the stupid thing that human beings do. They make it easy for their brain to do less goddamn work, and you always just want to lump shit into piles. They came from bad reboot. That's the same mystery box bullshit. Who gives a fuck? Can they tell a decent story? Can they? In 2 episodes, have you watched a story that you would want to continue watching for another episode? Plain, period, point blank. Are you not curious? Who's the manhunter in this damn city? Who are the rest of these aliens? Why does John not have the ring? Where did God get his ring from? Are you not curious about some of that shit? Or are you so inundated with the spoilers, the leaks, behind the scenes, all that shit that you already know that you can't even enjoy the shit anymore? Because you got so much meta shit happening on with yourself, you can't focus on just the story and let the story develop the way it's going to develop without all that shit intruding into it. You know, not seeing the forest through the trees. All of the shit you saying could be true about all that outside shit that has absolutely nothing to do with what the hell is going on in the show, in the story. For me, the show is good. And it's good for one reason right now. One of many reasons, but for one reason right now. It's letting people like this brother right here in my chat get curious and find out something about Jon Stewart. Because he didn't know shit about him. And he didn't even know he was black. That's actually important. The other part that he doesn't know, because apparently he's never saw a cartoon before, Jon Stewart is one of the strongest Lanterns. That's the part he don't know. But as I told him in a comment, this is why you don't hear him talking that shit when they complain about the show. They don't complain about no race swaps, do they? You don't hear him complaining about it's some made up character, do you? What they do attack is him being Hal Jordan's replacement because he was, even in the comic books. And that was way before all this woke shit. The only other thing you heard him complain about recently, just from 2 episodes, was that he's not that strong. That construct is not that damn important. Oh, really? It seemed pretty important in the books when he did it. It seemed pretty important when Hal did it in the books. That is showing a level of power in a Green Lantern that most don't exhibit, even in the comic books. Now, for people like Andre who don't know this, if you want to know about how badass John Stewart is, why nobody really fucks with John Stewart, and fucks with in the sense that don't think he a pushover, he is not some backup quarterback junior ass nigga. Take your ass over to Comic Books Explained. Or excuse me, Comics Explained. Look at his filmography. He got videos that go back years on Green Lantern stuff. John Stewart too. And he'll give you the rundown since he's read this shit about what's what. He'll also give you a little update since he's watching this show actively right now. And can tell you what is and what's not the character. Like these other motherfuckers sitting up here complaining for 2 hours cannot. Cannot. Won't name a specific thing at all. This is something that I know. Just a little tidbit of stuff that I know. The reason why John Stewart's constructs are more elaborate outside of him being an architect is one of the things that snipers, especially Marine snipers, need to know how to do, which is you need to be able to draw the battlefield in detail from a sight, because your ass is going to be laying in the cut for a while. You need to know that area. You need to know the terrain. You need to know all of that. You need to be able to commit that to your memory. Because you're not going to be laying there in the bush with enemies around constantly looking at your map. So being able to visualize something like that in your head, like an artist, is a skill. You develop it. Somebody giving you a goddamn ring that makes your imagination real and tangible is going to be a lot better than just thinking, I want to punch you. Let me think of a boxing glove. More detail. Hal didn't have that. Hal had the will. He didn't have that intricacy. He didn't. That's the difference between each one of these lanterns. They were all different. They all had different strengths and weaknesses. John wasn't no punk. He could fight you without the ring. And his constructs were more solid because there was more detail put into them. So you ain't breaking that Marine will. Fuck you. This is why when you asked me that, Andre, about when I got on the Green Lantern, I always knew who Hal was. I watched the Super Friends and shit. Wasn't that tied to him. But when I really started reading Green Lantern, it was with Kyle. Because Kyle was an artist. He was a comic book artist. So the constructs and the mech that he created were completely different. They may not have been as solid as John's, but they were elaborate in a different way. Because he had all this anime and comic book shit going through his goddamn head. That made it more fun. It made a Green Lantern updated. But back in them 80s with the Hal Jordan, where everything is our first time going into space and everybody's interested in that, yeah, making a big wrench would seem like something spectacular. Would, but not for long. Hal dying, like I said before, Hal dies. So what? He comes back too. It's comic book characters. It ain't permanent. By my recollection, Hal has died multiple times in the comics. It ain't permanent. I think he's running around right now. So trying to critique the show and get people not to watch the show, oh, they kill Hal. Yeah, they did. But he's still in the show right now, isn't he? And you're still not even sure, was that really Hal? Oh, well, he's not credited with being in the Man of Tomorrow movie. Well, if it's a surprise, would they tell you? Look, motherfucker, there's a lot of people in this Doomsday movie that ain't credited with being in it yet. And that's coming out this year. Like I said, we'll complain about a sunny day because it's too bright. As well, he should be. Look, Andre, you've heard me mention this many a time. I'm always about progression. Each lantern is a progression. There's shit that Hal does that Alan Scott would never do. Never. There's shit that John does that Hal could never do. There is stuff that Kyle does that Guy could never do. It's all a progression to stay with the times and not be behind them. When I read Green Lantern and you would get all the lanterns from Earth together, because it's a lot of them. It's not supposed to be, but it's a lot of them. They got their own core just in lanterns on Earth. If you want to be frank about it. It was cool seeing them all together making constructs because it was all different stuff. Some really detailed, some not so detailed. It's no different than reading Spider-Verse and seeing all the different Spider-Men drawn consistently in the way they were drawn in their books. Same colors and all the rest of that. Interacting with each other. Different but similar origins, similar powers, but going about things differently. That's what makes it fun. So, if in all that, I have to watch this version of Lanterns on TV, it's just another version of it. Is it the definitive one? No. The origin, the source of this shit is the definitive one. This is an adaptation. It's going to be different. And if you're still bitching about that, I don't know why you can't grow up a little bit. I don't want carbon copies of comic books. I don't. I'm not showing up on a TV show to watch that. If it's a literary book, I'm not showing up for that. I will take a little bit of twist, a little bit, maybe 10%. But you got to hit those main core beats of who these people are. And from what I see in the show, one of the things that's misrepresented is how Jordan is not a drunk. He looks old, he looks scruffy, but he's not a drunk. Yes, you see him drinking beers, but he's not a drunk. Where is it said he was a drunk anywhere in there? Except for the fact he said he showed up with a hangover because they were having a party up in space because he stopped a revolution. or insurrection or whatever it was. But now they misrepresent it. Oh, he's just drunk. He ain't fucking drunk. He had a beard. Jesus. Where did you Puritans come from? Oh, that's not John. He's a vegan. Well, I remember. Maybe I'm wrong, but prove me wrong. I thought John was always a vegan. And if he wasn't, what's the big deal? Do you got something with big beef or something? What the? Look, I might think being a vegan is kind of silly too. I'm an omnivore personally, but your choice is your choice. I know plenty of black men who are vegans that care about their health and don't want the shit that's being poisoned into them every day with all this processed shit. Look around. It's not that big of a deal. It's not a shock in the world. Do you compare this about True Detective? Comparing season one, typical drunken cop stereotype. Because I told you, they can never see what is without relating it to something else. If the writers and the authors had never jumped out their mouth and said we were trying to make a show like True Detective with lanterns, that shit wouldn't be stuck in their mind. It wouldn't be stuck in their mind because now all they're doing is constantly relating to the show as this. Constantly. That's why Hal's drunk when he ain't been drunk. It's 2 episodes. He talked about a hangover. He had a beer. That makes you a drunk now? I guess we all guilty. I guess I need to sign up for AA. It's silly. It's just things to anything that's going to stick against the wall to push people away from watching the show and liking the show. And that's the part that makes me so disappointed with my ilk. You sheep herders. You hate train conductors. You drama farmers. That's it. Because if you were really just looking at the show, for the show, not for all the outside bullshit, but just for the show, you can't honestly sit there and say you're not curious about anything else that could happen in the show. Because the same people I listened to for an hour and a half bitching about the show, yeah, I'm going to stick with it. Why? It's not good, right? If it's that bad, why would you stick with it? What are you, a masochist? I don't get it. Oh, it makes you money to complain about it. Okay. You got some farming to do. You got a train to load up and tell them where you're dropping them off. What not to like, what to like. I don't know. It's a waste of time to me. And listening to another black man take the side of some white boys on some shit that's actually true and bitching about it and all up in arms is just ridiculous to me. Just ridiculous. Because them same motherfuckers start going in on Aaron Pierre and Jon Stewart as a character, you wouldn't have shit to say. And I know this because I seen it from one of our cohort on another show. And he sat his monkey ass up there listening to this dude going in on Yahya Mateen because he is pissed off that he said something. that he didn't like. And he sat there and listened to that shit. Because this dude talking about the show he was on, the job he's out of, and what the reasons were he was given. Huh. Tell us how you really feel, bro. You was holding on to that for so long. So trust me, that shit is waiting for Aaron Pierre in this show. That's what's waiting on it. The minute that Kyle Chandler is no longer on the show, them motherfuckers gonna be pulling the bell to say this is the stop where this motherfucker gets off. He's just replacing the main character. People care about Hal. They don't care about John. You think they ain't warming up the Falcon treatment for him? You think they not? You think you're not gonna see it? Oh, I can bet money you will. As they say, dollars to donuts. Bet you will. As soon as Kyle Chandler is not on the show anymore. And you'll be hearing the same kind of talk you was hearing when somebody passed Falcon the Frisbee and say you can call yourself Captain America now. Same shit. With the same vigor. Motherfuckers is predictable. And it don't take much to predict it. It's unfortunate for me that I get to watch movies and shows and stuff like this now, knowing what their complaints are going to be. That I have to hear that in my goddamn head, like, and they're going to have a problem with this. Stupid. Halfway ruining my enjoyment of the damn shit. If I enjoy it, because even a shitty show has something you can like in it. Unfortunate as that may be, y'all know I fucking hated The Acolyte. Didn't like the person directing it. Didn't like her methodology in going about it. Didn't like her disrespect of the creator of Star Wars, George Lucas. Don't like the person she signed off on the shit, being Wolf Cowboy had Filoni. But you know what I did like in that shit? That Power of Many song makes me laugh every time I hear it. For how ridiculous it is, it makes me laugh every time I fucking hear that shit. Every time. It's just funny. It's funny as hell to me because it's so ridiculous in Star Wars. I might think that's the only time outside of the damn Ewoks that anybody sings anything in Star Wars. And it's ridiculous. It made me laugh when I was watching it when it first happened. Like, what the fuck is that? It made me laugh. It still makes me laugh. The other thing that was cool, I like Kyron's lightsabers. I did. It was thick as hell. They gotta be kind of girthy to hold on to. But it should say bad motherfucker on the side. Make me remember who I am. But I like the design. It's one blade, you twist off the bottom, and now you got two. I like that design. That was a cool design. In a shitty show. That's how I look at stuff. There are good points and bad points. And none of this shit is perfect. I just need the main beats held to, understood. Does all of this stuff have to be made by just people who know the material? No, because all of you can't direct shit. You can have all the knowledge and none of the capability. You can have all the capability and none of the knowledge. It takes both. Very few have it. Because trust me, whatever the hell David Lindelof is doing with the writer, Moby, whatever his fucking name is, they're doing a damn sight better than David S. Goyer, who worked for Warner Brothers too, than is doing on the Foundation show. I can barely stand to watch that motherfucker. I still ain't watched the third season, and it has the mule in it. Can't do it. It's irritating. It's so far off the book, I want them to take the name off of it. Darkness. Let's see if you got something on this. I know you don't, because you're one of them ones that's always late to the party and didn't do the homework. But you talk loud and you're boisterous, and I was talking about you yesterday. So you might as well come up here and I can talk about you to your face. I got a little time. All I have to do is fold laundry tonight. That'll keep. I did torture myself watching The Acolyte, Andre, and I knew I was going to do it before it started. I didn't like Leslie Headland at all. I didn't like the shit she was saying. Sound like the dumbest bitch in the world to be given that much money to make a Star Wars show. But you know what? I don't hold the purse strings. And the stupid bitch that didn't care. That's what she wanted to put out there. That's what she did. And I still watched the damn show. All of it. All of it. Took it all in. Ate that sin. And can say proof positive it was shit. There were some interesting parts to it that were kind of good, but it was a shit show. It was a shit show. And now I don't ever have to watch it again. And I barely try to reference it. It's like a bad time in your life. It happens, you move through it, and keep it pushing. Thank you for the support, Andre. Supporting my interests is, as you said, where you spend your time is what you value. Well, you should value it. Showtime, too. It's time out of your life. Let me give you that little bit of previously. Appreciate you. What? This is the first time Charles didn't come up here when I dropped the link. Thanks for the game on. What did Andre say? Thanks for the game on Lantern. I really like it so far. I was heard any of these complaints for Spider Noir. Spider Noir was actually really good. That was a really good show. Stylized and everything. Even the black character in there was good. But it's not traditionally how that shit happens in the comic books, no. But it was a good adaptation. I want to see a season 2 of that shit. Introduce some more characters. Let me see more of what's going on with Ben Reilly in the world. Shit, that'd be awesome. And as far as Lantern, dude, I always say, and I say this because I'm from the reading generation and worked in a comic shop, read a book, even if it has pictures in it. Because you can find out a lot of this same shit that people was getting wrong and debunk it really quickly if you read one of the goddamn comics they didn't. It don't take no time nowadays. You can read the shit digitally. You can get the whole story in the trade and read the whole goddamn thing and be done with it. You didn't have to wait month after month like we were doing. I was watching one of Rob's videos today, and he was talking about Volthoom, the first lantern. I remember when that character came out. I was reading Green Lantern when they introduced that character and was reading that shit. Said, yeah, he was a badass. That was an issue. This is old shit for me. It ain't current. When I stopped reading Green Lantern, Jessica Cruz had just started, and Simon Baz was there. And Simon Baz had a mask and a fucking 45 on his hip. A Green Lantern carrying a gun. Like, what? That looked crazy. That looked like some, Stormwatch shit. Yeah, they had him looking like half-ass battalion. That's when I stopped reading. Now they want to pivot and say John is going to be the villain. Why? John is one of the upstanding lanterns. Just like Hal, just like Guy, just like Kyle, like Alan, it's like Jessica, like Simon, this other new shit Mitch in the Absolute Universe, Sojourner, whatever. Yeah. They're Green Lanterns, dude. They're not villains. To my recollection, the only one that has become a villain has been Hal. The only one. And that's why his ass had to die. And don't be all broke up about it. Fucking Barry Allen died too. Because to bring on the new generation, sometimes the old ones got to go. And comic books are good for doing that. DC more than any other. Because DC, unlike Marvel, I've said it before, I will say it again, has a mantle system. Meaning there can always be another Green Lantern. But it won't always be Hal, Alan, Kyle, or Guy, or John. It will be someone else. And you will relate to him as a Green Lantern. A lot of these people bitching about this shit is people crying against a storm about change. Half-ass dinosaurs. They barely knew the material or didn't interact with it much anyway. And then the loudest one screaming because something was changed. What are you upset about? You wasn't reading the shit anyway, right? Stupid. Anyway, it was about an hour. I put that link in there for Charles. He's not coming up. So I'm going to get out of here and go about my evening. But I just wanted to say that. Look, man, you got the right to do whatever you want to as an American. You do. But some of this shit is a bad look. And understand, as black people, everybody else fight ain't ours. I have white friends too. Every one of the things they pissed off about, I am not. I'm not. And everything I get pissed off about, they are not. But the reason I have friends that damn diverse is because we can tell each other, like, man, you going too far with that. That's a little off base. You think that's the right way to handle that? Is to give each other perspective, not to be an echo chamber. I got friends that's really liberal. I got friends that's really goddamn conservative. And the part I play is calling each person on their shit. Because if you off base, you just off base, bro. It don't mean I don't like you. It just mean you off base. And maybe if you look at it from this way, you shut the hell up. But don't think I'm going to be standing out there with you on some dumb shit. That's not the type of friend I am. I'm the type of friend that's gonna keep you from doing the dumb shit. I heard this motherfucker call it sloppy seconds on a ring. Like he's relating a sexual term for the ring just so he can get a laugh off of it and try to denigrate the black dude. He's sloppy second in the ring. Whatever fantasy you have about the shit, man, is what fantasies you have. But that sounds so fucking ridiculous. Now, my whole thing from the first episode was like, you can't use that ring. You can't use that ring. It's not his. Well, you're gonna have to explain that. How's that working? He got the trainee plan, like a cell phone. He got an extra line so he can tap into the power battery too if he holding the ring. Because how I know them things work, they are coded for a person. You can't use it. Otherwise, any villain can get it off your finger and then use it on you, like a cop with a gun. It's not how it works. But this is how it's working in this show. Okay, well, long as I know it's happening here in this show, and this is not the main continuity, so it doesn't actually matter. Putting politics is not necessary to put it into the show unless you do it cleverly. You can talk. I don't like it personally. I hate people putting politics into the show. And let me be specific. I hate people putting their personal politics into the show because I don't give a shit about none of that. I don't know none of these people personally. We're not hanging out after the show is over. So I don't give a shit about your personal politics. Keep it out of the show. If it's a show about these characters, then let it be about these characters. If you're making something original, it's not from a book or a comic book or something that I've already known and had a lot of experience with my whole life, knock yourself out. You can put your politics all through it. And if it sucks, you'll know why. But if you're taking something that's established and this political view is not been there in this character, do not make a show with this character and throw that bullshit in there. It does not fit. It will not work. Nobody wants that. Yeah, it'll be that. It'll be his constructs are not as good. It'll be anything that's very easy to predict. And I'll tell you what it is. Anything that denigrates that black man to makes him seem lesser than, substandard, backup quarterback, sloppy seconds, stand in. All that shit is diminishment. That's all it is. It's all words to diminish that dude. That's it. You'll hear it. You don't really have to even be listening for it. You just have to understand what words mean. Anything to diminish. And the misrepresentation will be all over the place because they just trying to drive people away from watching the show. So that's 1 hour. I'm out of here. So thanks for showing up, Andre. I just wanted to get that off my chest for you more than anything else because you asked me about this shit. And look, dude, if you don't want to read a whole book, if they ain't got those up in Canada or something, pull up your DC wiki and read up on Jon Stewart. Use all the power that you have in your phone for something useful instead of listening to a bunch of dumb fucks. Get your own knowledge, then you don't have to rely on their shit so much. It's like I told my son about going to church and reading the Bible. Read the shit yourself. Because then you know if that motherfucker telling you a lie or not. But if you don't read it yourself, you always dependent on what that motherfucker tells you. And if nobody's down here perfect, you shouldn't be trusting him. Read it yourself. Then at least you got something to stand on when you say, you know what, that don't sound right. That's not how I remember that verse going. You can do that then. You can't do it when you have no experience with the original material. I will now, since you showed me I'm interested, stop watching reviews before I've seen it first. You got to see the shit first yourself. At least know what you think before you let somebody else pour their ideas into your head. This is what critical thinking is. You have to know what you think. Once you know what you think, it doesn't matter what somebody else says. You can accept the marriage, you can throw away the bullshit. As BGS says, eat the meat and spit out the bones. The actual base comments that they have that actually hold weight, you can talk to, you can speak to that, you can evaluate it. The bullshit and the rhetoric they throw in there, yeah, you can throw that off the table. Like, yeah, I'm not listening to that shit. But you know where you stand, what you think. Because that's all they fighting for. Space in your head. And control over your reactions. So, appreciate you, Andre. Do your research. Yes, there was such thing as a black Green Lantern named John Stewart. That's all true. And if you read up on him in the absolute universe right now, he's still being a badass. So, that's it. I'm out of here. I got some other shit to do. Get that off my chest. And I will see you guys next time. Oh, I never even put up the thing to support the stream and shit. My bad. Terrible YouTuber. Anyway, peace, y'all.